we are seeing in real time Maxime Raynaud shine. I mean, his development over the course of this season, it's been so fun to track like his linear progression.
Yeah.
And it just, if it's a chart, it's just up, 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 up. There was a little bit of a plateau. A handful of weeks ago when Dylan Cardwell was playing really well. And then, bam, he's spiked up immediately. I just have like this question to lay out there, and I'm not saying it's not an answerable question.
Okay.
With what we've seen from Max all season long, why isn't he the starting center of the Sacramento Kings for the future? Why?
Do you have...
And it's not to, hey, come up with a reason to bash on the guy.
No.
The point is, like, I think expectations for the 42nd overall pick should be crumpled up and thrown out the window because Max isn't the 42nd overall pick. Max looks like a top 10 pick in this draft. Yep. So
we're acting like these stories never happen.
Yeah.
Like, we're acting because maybe even King stories like this haven't happened or at least lasted.
Yep.
But in real time right now, with this being a conversation, I think the trajectory is like starting to go in that direction of, yes, he could very well be a starting center for the Sacramento Kings team. The problem is right now is what happens with other pieces that are still here. Mm-hmm. And I still want to see how he adjusts in his sophomore season.
Yep.
When people have got the full tape on him, when teams have faced him a little bit more, there's more of a game plan.
Right.
That is where I'm not pausing because of reservation of what I've seen from it's you have to allow a little bit of time for adjustments to be had in the league.
Mm-hmm. And understand what we're saying here. We're not saying why isn't Maxime Raynaud your star of the future? It's why isn't he your starting center?
Yeah.
If Max plays within his role, what we believe his role to be, but plays at the level that he's been playing at, he's a starting caliber center.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to have the conversation a few years from now, can you be a title contender with Maxime Raynaud as your starting center? Hey, I'm not even close to there yet.
Sure.
But we've always looked at, well, Max is starting because Domantas Sabonis is hurt. Mm-hmm. And that's true this season. Max would not have gotten nearly this opportunity if Domas had stayed healthy. We both expect Domas to be back next season. We'll see what the Sacramento Kings try and do if they're able to trade him or whatever. But the expectation is that Domas will be back. And when Domas comes back, he will continue to start at center. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Exactly.
But why shouldn't the Kings as an organization, when Scott Perry sits down with B.J. Armstrong and his front office staff, why shouldn't they sit there and go, we feel as confident as we can in trading Domantas Sabonis because we have a starting caliber center that we drafted that's right there ready to step into the spot.
And they're going in a different direction, it seems to be anyway, in terms of what you're going to get from a center like Domantas Sabonis in his style of play. It's a little more unique in what you're looking for, a little more niche to what maybe you're going to go a little bit towards in terms of Max. Mm-hmm. And I think he's Scott Perry's guy, and probably now something that Scott Perry is really proud of as well, because he did get him in the second round, regardless of how it happened. He got him in the second round, and it has turned out to be a success story, one of the rare ones this season for the Kings. And I'm not trying to saying that rude, but it them's are the facts.
Nobody expected it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody expected this.
Right.
When Max came into the league, when the Kings drafted Max, we were talking about, maybe he could play with Domantas Sabonis in stretches because he spaces the floor. Look how well he shoots at Stanford. But now we're talking about someone who is a very, very efficient piece in the paint. He makes it look easy, and it doesn't look as significant as it does.
No.
Y'all, his ability to find space in the paint and finish around the rim is an elite skill.
And he makes it look effortless.
That is very difficult to do, to find that space. And the fact that he doesn't have to rely on brute strength in order to get to those spots, he can fluidly weave his way around the defense. And I've seen these comments already. Well, Matt, he did it against the Chicago Bulls, who had no interior defense. That's true. The Bulls had no answer for Maxime Raynaud. But Max also had 22 and 10 versus the Phoenix Suns last week. Max had 16 and 13 against the LA Lakers. Max had 11 points against the Houston Rockets. Max had 16 and 12 against the San Antonio Spurs and Victor frickin' Wembanyama. Like, he's not just doing this against bad basketball teams.
No, he's not. And again, you were talking about last night against the Bulls, and I get it. It's an inferior team. But here's the thing. Like, and Max is a big part of this. They did exactly what they needed to do and some. They had 68 points in the paint last night to the Bulls 38.
Yeah, they dominated.
Like that, they whooped it. You hear this? Whoosh. Whoosh.
Well, now I can't hear it.
It wasn't like a MLB butt tap. It was like I got this as a kid. Whoosh. If I was bad.
I don't know what to do with this. You keep going.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds like someone's hitting you with like a filing cabinet.
Hey, keep going. You keep
well,
cooking.
I mean, it pretty much was a spoon or a belt. So.
It was, but to your point, it was.
You know what I'm saying? No,
yeah.
I'm like, okay,
no,
but
we don't know what you're saying.
No, I do.
If I could just
I know what she's saying.
Say, FCC approved words on here.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
It was a beatdown in the paint by the Sacramento Kings.
You were very subtle. It was hard for us to determine what it was you were doing.
They dominated the Bulls. They just dominated the paint against the Chicago Bulls. Maxime Raynaud was a huge part of that, but of course it was Russell Westbrook attacking the basket that was feeding him. Nick Clifford attacked the basket a couple times, found Max in space. Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk did it. Malik had a really, really good game. We're going to save this topic for tomorrow because I don't want to brush past it, but I just want to touch on this. And again, not trying to get myself in trouble by creating narratives here. Connecting the dots of what we heard last summer and what I heard all the way up until the trade deadline. I believe the Sacramento Kings are going to try to move on from Malik Monk. I do not believe that the Sacramento Kings necessarily feel that Malik is part of the long-term plan. I think that has more to do with the contract than it does to do with Malik Monk, the basketball player. And that does not mean that they don't like Malik Monk. But when you look at the top contracts on this roster and which ones should be easier to move versus which ones aren't, in theory, Monk's contract should be easier to move. That is the reason why I do believe the Kings will want to move on from Malik. But he is an elite sixth man still. I would love to see him back in Sacramento. And regardless of how good the Kings are going to do next season, they still need a six-man punch off the bench. I would love for Malik to continue to be that here.
I just feel like they can't win in any situation.
There's always a but.
It's always a but. It's like always such a conundrum in terms of figuring out what's going to happen next, because in any other world, you wouldn't have these heavy veteran contracts that have piled up. And we're having this discussion, I believe, about, well, who's the easiest to move. I do believe that if we didn't have this issue with all these veteran contracts, that we wouldn't be as much talking about Malik Monk being moved, because he's been nothing but incredible for this team. He's a six-man, like you said, coming off the bench. He fits the city. He's a freaking pizza guy. And come on.
And he's playing consistently again. He's playing consistently again because Keon Ellis isn't here. And it's not to blame Keon, but what you could clearly tell was Doug was trying to figure out, how do I balance playing Keon and Malik? And it seemed like one had to play over the other at all times because Zach LaVine was healthy. It was just a mess of a roster to begin with. You have to clean it up somehow. And again, moving Malik might be one of the easiest ways to clean it up. So that might be why Scott Perry is most motivated to do that.
I know, but it's stinky because it is stinky. It's almost like you're forced to do it.
Yes.
You really maybe don't want to do it when it's all said and done, but you're forced to do it because it's all about the freaking business.
There are very few reasons why Malik Monk being a Sacramento King next season and continuing to be here in Sacramento is a bad thing. Very, very, very few reasons. You won't hear me talking about him here on this show.